probably 50 degrees. Outside, got my mind blown off of the trees. Windows down, feeling the breeze of that cold air. Living in the UT, yeah, we really out here. Ain't nobody recognizing, ain't nobody give a damn, really. Less I stunt on them silly in the streets. Pop willies, but I'm not really like that. I'm the type that's laid back. Space cruising right around the city with the seat back. Same Lincoln Town car, whipping with the paint scratch. Still pull your girl, even if you in the Maybach. Don't play that. I've been had the juice since way back. Everybody searching for truth, so just say that. In the booth, right in my room, could take a quick nap. When I say I sleep in the booth, I really meant that. I remember we was getting kicked out every kickback. It's funny cause I barely go out, now I just kick back.
Don't tell me how to live my life, cause I'ma live it, living how I'm living. Gotta work for everything in this life, cause nothing is a given, nothing is a given. Yeah, you gotta get to it, been knew it, gotta grind because I can't lose it. Not stupid, you can feel it up in my music. Live through it, never fading away, never fading away.
I just dropped a G on some stocks that I like. Sent some money to my mama, but we living upright. School wasn't for me, telling me what to think. I'd rather invest in other things than a college degree. Like appreciating assets, but I ain't got a bag yet. Still stacking bread like, what the hell a bag get? They sour with the dough. See them hedge funds sorting, they don't wanna see me spending cheese all up on my shoulders. Make my money work for me, retire before 40. By the time I pass away, my music gon' speak for me. I just picked it back up from the OGs before me. Something like Mike passing the torch to young Kobe. Yeah, we can't fake it. Came up and then we ran with it. It ain't overnight, alright. That mean we plan different, working every night, getting bright. During the pandemic, jigs up, they dug in my work like it was damn
Don't
cancer.
tell me how to live my life, cause I'ma live it, living how I'm living. Gotta work for everything in this life, cause nothing is a given, nothing is a given. Yeah, you gotta get to it, been knew it, gotta grind because I can't lose it. Not stupid, you can feel it up in my music. Live through it, never fading away, never fading away.
It's called T. And 4 to 3. You take it away. Yeah, that's right. Probably 50 degrees. Outside, got my mind blown off of the trees. Windows down, feeling the breeze of that cold air. Living in the UT, yeah, we really out here. Ain't nobody recognizing, ain't nobody give a damn, really. Less I stunt on them silly in the streets. Pop willies, but I'm not really like that. I'm the type that's laid back. Space cruising right around the city with the seat back. Same Lincoln Town car, whipping with the paint scratch. Still pull your girl, even if you in the Maybach. Don't play that. I've been had the juice since way back. Everybody searching for truth, so just say that. In the booth, right in my room, could take a quick nap. When I say I sleep in the booth, I really meant that. I remember we was getting kicked out every kickback. It's funny cause I barely go out, now I just kick
Don't
back.
tell me how to live my life, cause I'ma live it, living how I'm living. Gotta work for everything in this life, cause nothing is a given, nothing is a given. Yeah, you gotta get to it, been knew it, gotta grind because I can't lose it. Not stupid, you can feel it up in my music. Live through it, never fading away, never fading away.
I just dropped a G on some stocks that I like. Sent some money to my mama, but we living upright. School wasn't for me.
Yes, sir.
What up?
Baby? What's good? This is first time
good?
y'all with us. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, like the video, comment, come and talk your ish, man. We just talking sports, all that good stuff. I'm sorry, that's Vita. TTEspn,
Yep.
What's happening?
What up, y'all?
Yes,
What
sir.
up?
Yes, sir.
Let's go, man. Ready to have a good day, man. Football already 2 weeks in and done. It comes by, takes so long to get here, and then it just goes by so fast, man. Like, it really does.
It really
It takes
go
so
fast.
It's already going into week 3. Like, it's wild. Like, it really is wild. That is crazy. How's everything your way, though, Oos? How's everything going your way, Oos?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I put the shirt on. It didn't fit a couple months ago. It was fitting real snug.
That's what's up, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
We got some space in it today.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Big up to the discipline, Oos. I see you. Roses to you. While I sit here, so I got home today. I went to the gym this morning myself. 4:30, came home, got everything, was tired, so I took a nap pretty much up to like 30 minutes ago after we got the kids. And as you talk about losing weight, I got like a plate of like 2 tamales right here I'm gonna be snacking on during the show. So I'm good to it's been wild, man. It's been a crazy week. Like, it's been a crazy week, man. It really has.
Hey, man, I ain't even mad at you snacking on tamales. It's been a couple months. Man, it probably been like 2 years since I had some good tamales, man.
Yeah. Her family, like my wife's family makes like, they really do make like some of the best tamales, but these ain't theirs. These is one of her friends who made them. So but my wife's family's tamales really be off the chain, man. Like, they really do make the best tamales that I've had.
I need some tamales in my life.
Yeah, man. Hey, I want to set a light goal today because we don't ever set one, right?
Yeah.
Just 10. Let's see if we could just get 10 likes on the video. We be having people hop in and hop out. Y'all, we don't ever want to take nothing. I know PBX take y'all. Just come in, drop a like, and then dip out, y'all. That's all we need, man. Oh, my man Gregory already in the chat, bro. What's up, man? Told y'all, boys, boom. Put the money on the 49ers, boom. No way Washington wins, boom. Car sucks, boom. Just call me no time, fellas. Just making money, baby.
That man,
hey, I'm not gonna doubt you. I'm not gonna doubt you, man. I'm not gonna doubt you. You was right. I love it, man. So quick, off of him, the Cowboys. Is that upset of the week? Like, just real quick, like Cowboys upset of the week?
I'm not gonna call it upset of the week because their defense drives that team.
No, they do. Like, God, I don't want to overjump us breaking down.
Think Dak is that dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's not jump the gun on it. Hey, girl, you was right though, man. You was right. You was right.
Yep.
Hey, when we wrong, we wrong. When we right, we right. You killed that. Hey, we did say put the house on the Bucs spread. So you know what I'm saying? That worked out.
They was looking a little.
Yeah, they was looking close. But that's the thing. But that's the thing that I was okay with. Was like they could even look shaky. But we knew New Orleans had a slow start week 1. I figured they was gonna have a slow start week 2. I was like, yo, at some point down the line, hopefully it's enough to where Jameis is gonna do Jameis and Tom will do a little with him, and then that'll be enough that we need to cover that. So yeah, man, I was laughing
because there were Bucs players that were like, man, he used to be our quarterback. We knew he was gonna give it to us. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So a couple other things in the NFL before we break down, like we get into some of the games. William Gay, the 4-game suspension for William Gay.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a lot of Chiefs fans extremely upset that now he's getting the 4-game suspension instead of the beginning of the year. One thing that we've really been heavy on for ourselves is don't expect the NFL to ever be right on morality. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever expect the NFL to do the right thing when it comes to morality and suspension like issues. You're probably never gonna agree with what they do. So like, don't expect it. But like, I had a lot of, and these are just like people who I just call like Homer fans. These are Chiefs fans and Chiefs fans alone, and everything revolves around the Chiefs. I remember him, like, some of them were upset with like, oh, Mike Evans, who got a 1-game suspension for the hit on Lattimore this week that passed. Well, how does he get 1 week and he gets 4? and then it starts to become a measuring stick. And like we talked about
Leonard
before,
Fournette didn't get no suspension.
yeah, and then Leonard
For an
Fournette
illegal
didn't get.
hit.
But we always said like, yo, don't trust the NFL to handle these issues fairly and equally. They're just kind of willing and dealing as they go. They really don't want to deal with this mess. Then you would not believe how many people that I've seen call Derwin James slamming Kelsey a dirty illegal hit. I said, you are a grown man. If you are a grown man and you allow another grown man the ability to pick you up and slam you, that's just on you, bro.
And
that's just on you.
Didn't blow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
it didn't
like
blow.
He like whipped him or drove. He didn't even drive his shoulder into him.
Nobody would have said nothing if he trucked him and went into the end zone.
Right.
Like, nobody would have said nothing.
It was a form tackle, if anything, man.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. So like some of that stuff got me this week. I'm kind of looking at that, the suspension news. Man, the New York Jets come back on the Browns. I would like, so now people were complaining like, oh, Chubb shouldn't have scored that touchdown in the last minute. He should have kneeled. I'm like, bro,
they even got to the point where he's apologizing. He's like, man, scoring was a wrong thing to do. No,
bro.
That touchdown. Your defense should be the defense, and they should do their job. Like,
should do their job. We'll get to that too. Man. We'll get to that too. It's been good, but let's go ahead since it's the freshest news. Greg said it. Props to the Eagles. Ooze, how you feeling about Monday Night Football against the Vikings, man? Jalen Hurts number one.
I'm not gonna lie, Ooze. The first two scores we had, I was like, yo, you teasing me, dog. You teasing me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this because they've done this the last 2-3 years. Quick start and then find a way to stumble. Man, quick start. Carried it on.
Yep.
Vikings got a real good score going 7-14.
Yep.
And then Jalen Hurts was just operating, bro.
Yeah, and that's how I was very impressed with like the fact that there was, and I remember in the first half there was a couple illegal man downfields that pushed the first and 15. And instead of coming out in first and 15 and being like, hey, look, let's run and just kind of get some of the yardage back, they were throwing at the sticks. Like they were throwing at the sticks. Like they were like, nah, we can go get this back and we're gonna be aggressive about getting it. Like you said, that was like the perfect word to me, was like operating. It was like the team, Hurts, everybody knew like, okay, we're ready for this situation. We know how to get out of this situation. So like that was like, man, that was very impressive to me. Yep. Seeing Jalen Hurts like that,
Sanders
man.
Looked good. Yeah, Sanders looked great. Yeah. One of the most impressive things to me this game, in comparison to Week 1, we saw Week 1, Devontae Smith got six targets, no catches. First thing he did, first pass, he said, "I'm coming to you. I don't care what the route is. I don't care what the play is. I'm throwing it to you." He threw it to him 7 or 8 times, 9 times or something like that. He caught all of them.
That's
for like 80, 90 yards.
Yep.
That to me just says like, yo, I know I got AJ Brown, but I need you too, dog.
Yeah. And I definitely like, I can, and I think it's just like Week 1 was just like, hey, Brown just had a killer matchup, did his thing. I think there could be any weeks that either one of those guys go off.
Yep.
I wasn't the highest on Brown coming into the year because I was like, especially in that draft class, I did like Brown more than I like McLaurin. I did like Brown more than I like CD, but I always had him like in the middle. I had DK and Debo over him, and I had Brown in the middle. But like actually being able to see him in this, you're kind of like, man, okay, like I do see the special like top 10 talent that people are trying to see now that I'm able to see him more. Yeah, big play Slay, man, was all over Jefferson, man.
Just that, watched his pivot interview, which
I didn't catch it yet.
Perfect time.
Yeah, I didn't catch it yet.
He's probably one of the most humble corners. When you go from like watching a Jalen Ramsey so heavily to listening to him the way he talks, he gonna give his flowers, but he's also like, I'm a dog too. I put in work.
Yeah. No, that's facts. And man, I love the pivot. We love the pivot over here, man. We love the pivot over here. So yeah, man, that was very impressive. One thing that I did notice was like the Eagles had control of the game the whole time. Like I said, you go out, you get your score early. Every time I feel like Minnesota made a mistake, the Eagles make sure that they capitalize. You go 3 and out, we're gonna make sure we capitalize. The red zone pick by Slay, the picks after, like it was like every opportunity that Kirk Cousins laid the room for them to be able to make a mistake. The Eagles took advantage. I told my OG at work Monday, he was like, well, what do you think? I said, well, I was like, I know Justin Jefferson's a special talent. I said, but Darius Slay's an all-pro corner on the other side too. I said, but the other thing is, there's really no weakness in this like Philly defense at all. I was like, they're 3-4 cornerbacks deep. I said, they're 4 or 5 linemen, D linemen deep. I said, they're very good in the interior and on the boundaries. I said, so you really not like, you have to kind of like, if you leave a mistake out there, that team is going to take advantage of it. Yeah. So again, it was extremely impressive. We did have Philly winning the division anyway, so it was kind of like that was like a toss-up game. I remember we talked about it.
Yeah.
But I know we all said Philly could be like, yo, home team Philly should win. We're going to get out to Philly. Does it change any of your perspective that we didn't pick Minnesota to win the division? We never believed that. But does it give you any different views, or do you think it's just week 2 woes? We was just a better team today.
Honestly, I think we were reminded. This game reminded us that Kirk Cousins, under the lights, under pressure, is going to Kirk Cousins.
Yo, the fool is 2-10 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and then going into the game against the Cowboys next week, he's lost like 9 straight against the Cowboys or something like that. Because I was watching Skip and Uncle Shay, but I think for us, for me, I was just reminded that Kirk Cousins is the line, and that's what the line looks like. You can go from week 1 having an amazing game where you got a top-tier, top 10 receiver going 180 plus, multiple touchdowns, to coming in against a defense that has game planned for you the week prior and said, "Nah, dog, we gonna put some pressure in your face." Eagles didn't do a lot of blitzing last year, but this game they knew if we pressure Kirk Cousins, he gonna give it to us. That's exactly what happened.
What about our other Monday night game, man? The Hope Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to Tennessee Titans, man. Big money on the spread, baby. Yo. Big money on the spread. They covered the 10. Well covered the 10.
They are scary.
They are scary, man. It was extremely Diggs and his connection is extremely special, but it's been like that since they got together. Yeah. It really is that Diggs has this whole of 2 bad playoff games against the Chiefs, virtually being neutralized majority of the game. So, I think game plan, like in the playoff games, goes to that also. But, man, when I tell you, like, this team looks like a team who knows, like, yo, every week we need to be sharp. Every week we need to be sharp. We need to be on our game. I do want to, but, it's very easy. It's very, very easy to be like, oh, you're playing the best football right now. Eventually you're going to drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't play this type of great football all year. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just the case because, we look at injuries and whatever, but we've said it. Overall, the Bills had one of the best rosters in the NFL. And then we said, like, the Chargers was second. And then we had the Eagles with some of the best rosters in the NFL. We know this is a team that's been together a couple years. So they have the chemistry. They have the players who were dead in their prime. They have some players who were young, developing, coming into their prime. Gregory Rousseau, you know what I'm saying, is a name that I like to see. Seeing how James Cook kind of gets involved throughout the course of the year, rookie running back. The Von Miller edition. Matt Milano, man, those linebackers over there are very, very underrated. And Fowler's the one who said this a while ago. Fowler was like Matt Milano and Edmonds. He was saying it. He said those are 2 great linebackers, and he was right, man. Ever since he said it, man. So like Jordan Poyer, like that team is just so well built, well coached. And I seen a statement today. And I would ask y'all, Greg, what y'all think about this statement. The statement was the Bills are the only team this year that is Super Bowl or bust. Do you agree with that statement?
I think there's one other team that's Super Bowl or bust, me personally.
Who was that team?
That's got to be Tampa.
Tampa? All right.
I think Tampa's the other Super Bowl or bust. But absolutely, I think if I'm prioritizing Super Bowl or bust, it's absolutely the Buffalo Bills because their excuse last year, which I fully lean on this, aside from the whole overtime coin flip, if they would have been healthy in that secondary and had Tre'Davious White, it'd have been a whole different story.
Yeah.
I think it would have changed. It's a big what if. But I think the Bills are at the point, if we're looking at their schedule, to me, their biggest test is this week in Miami, which they historically don't do great against Miami in Miami. They lost last year in Miami. They're in KC a couple weeks later. And then the next big game ain't really until they're back against Miami at home.
They got Packers after a bye week, though, right?
Yeah, they do. They do got the Packers.
Can you pull up their schedule, please? Like, are you able to pull up their schedule? No, that's fast, man. Like the AFC is just a lot of elite teams, but a lot of these elite teams, elite quarterbacks, don't have a complete elite roster like Buffalo is built. So big ups, like be for real, big ups to Sean McDermott and the GM in the front office, Bean over there, for like really taking this roster and doing what's needed. They said they got Miami this week, Baltimore next, Pittsburgh, KC. I told you we might be going to that KC game. Mm-hmm. We might be going to that KC game. I got to call my brother after this and see if we're going to go. Then the bye week and then Green Bay. So I said, I said the KC game is it. Baltimore will be tough. KC clearly will be tough, and Green Bay will be tough. But after that, I think everything, like you said, up until Miami could just potentially be a wash.
Yeah, but one thing that I always want to keep in mind that I don't want to let this fanciness of what we're seeing right now have us forget is that Buffalo likes to have those trap games, and they like to get trapped in those. They're one of the few teams over the last few years that I see stumble into those trap games where they're heavy favorites, and there's just something about those. Like the
Jacksonville game, right? Didn't they take out the Jacksonville game last year?
Jacksonville might be one. Last year, the Titans were a trap game for them. They stumbled on that one, which I think they came out and make a statement on this one.
Yeah. No, that's facts. Allen's focus. I think Allen has really taken a lesson he's learned every year before and really grew from that this year.
Oh, yeah.
So I do believe the Bills are the favorites to win. You know what I'm saying? I really do think they are the favorites to win. You say there's one person you're going to pick, I would pick Buffalo to be the favorites to win. I really do.
I can see Detroit being a trap game for them. Detroit's looking great.
Yeah. Detroit could be a trap game.
Defense is nasty.
I said, they got week 11 Cleveland. That's still a Deshaun-less Cleveland, though.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's facts. So can we have that Can we have that? Well, the conversation is, I've always had the belief of where quarterback is drafted usually overrides how talented they are.
Mm-hmm.
You see how Josh Allen goes from his rookie year to now he's top 2, top 3 quarterback in the league. You look at Jalen Hurts, who had first year coaching situation struggles. You finally got a coach who comes in, commits to him, gives him the keys. Not only gives him the keys and say, hey, just save my job. Like we're going to progressively and actively build around you. You have Tua, who, as much as we like Brian Flores wasn't fully committed to Tua.
He didn't want to. He tried to trade Tua multiple times for Deshaun Watson.
And then Mike McDaniels comes in and says, no, Tua, you're my dude. We're going to go. And I'm going to coach you like the quarterback I need you to coach you as. Other examples, you see Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, these guys who are like, hey, we like when the coach is committed to them and the organization is committed to them, you see them take leaps and bounds. Trevor Lawrence is looking much better in year 2 with Dougie P instead of Urban Meyer.
Quarterback friendly coach.
But we call Urban Meyer being
historical success in the NFL. Not an NCAA football, college coach that you're bringing in, hoping that you can be a spark and flash in the pan, but you're surrounding them with legitimate pieces, legitimate people that believe in them and put them in places to succeed. So,
and then you got places like the Carolina Panthers, who under one coach in 3 years is now on their 6th quarterback, or places like the New York Jets, who went from Sam Darnold to now Zach Wilson, who can't stay healthy, so they don't even know who they really have in Zach Wilson. You got Justin Fields going into year 2, actually being told he's the guy. It seems like there's some more flashes starting to be shown. Mm-hmm. New coach, new GM. Look at Daniel Jones with Brian Daboll. They're like, you can see when a coach just kind of says, hey, I'm gonna play you like this, I'm gonna coach you like this, and it's up to you to raise the level of your game, or you're just not gonna be here.
So here's a question for you, right? Do you think this is a result of what we saw in the offseason with Brian Flores going out there and saying, I've been a part of franchises that just told me to lose. Now you got coaches that are coming here in their first year who are supposed to be losing. And you got the Giants who are undefeated. You got Miami who's out there. As far as we all knew, it was like if Tua's great, it's because he has two great receivers. But if he's not, we expected it. You got who else is out there outperforming? The Jets with Joe Flacco outperforming where they were supposed to be. Jacksonville Jaguars, who was your call, who could be from worst to best.
Worst to first.
And then you got the Texans with Davis Mills. It's like y'all are supposed to be vying for a position to get a quarterback next year. What are y'all doing?
And I think one thing that's getting me too is the fact that like maybe we are undervaluing the readiness of some of these new coaches. Because again, Matt Rule came from college. The rest of these dudes have actual NFL experience
play
somewhere
calling and all that.
And it's not to say that when it comes to week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, and more film is on the board that, you know, maybe like, okay, the formula of your roster will start to expose. But look at Dan Campbell, man, with the Lions. Like, this dude really has the world believing that the Lions really can be contenders with a roster that we're like, yo, like, we're actually not even more surprised at your roster. You got these dudes bought in. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give a kudos to the coaching because, you know, eventually you're going to see greats like Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, and all these guys, you know, Sean Payton walking away, Dennis Allen stepping in. We're starting to see a change of the guard of coaches in the NFL. And, you know, like Kevin O'Connell even going to Minnesota. Like, we're starting to see a changing of the guard here. And there's realistic expectations of, well, not realistic expectations. I think we're going to see a new standard set for how these new coaches approach the game. I think a lot of them have picked up from what the other guys have done wrong and said, hey, Sean McDermott was in Carolina with the whole Cam Newton era. He was a defensive coordinator. And it's almost like he looked at everything stupid Ron Rivera and that GM did and was like, we damn sure not going to do this in Buffalo when we get our guy. And you just look at him like, yo, he's really protecting Josh. He's got a line for Josh. Like, it's stuff like that. So I really do think, like, I'm ecstatic for these coaches because for us to look here and be like, yo, one of these divisions is extremely deep with quarterbacks and coaches, and the other one is starting to find new ground. That's like that really is extremely impressive to me, man. Like, that really is. And it makes me just excited as a fan of the game to be like, hey, we're not going to tune in to, you know, London morning games or Thursday night games and be bored anymore. I mean, we're going to watch them anyway, but be like, yeah, these still are going to be competitive games.
Yeah. All right, man. First thing we got on table, TTE game of the week. Cousin Tua versus Brother Lamar.
What a game, man. I felt like both of these quarterbacks balled out, man.
Man, for as great as these two defenses are, and I am going to use the word great because in this specific matchup, we said that this was not a good matchup for the Ravens. It wasn't. And it didn't start off that way, but I think it turned into it. And, you know, we said that if Tua lives up to his potential, I want to take it back to what we said last week. Tua is going to need to throw 400 plus and multiple touchdowns in this game in order for them to win. Yep. Let me pull up the stats for y'all so we can just double check what Cousin Tua did.
Yep.
And then we'll dive into it, man. 36 for 50, 469, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. QBR of 90. That is wild. But let's
outrageous.
Let's not stop there. I want to move over to Lamar Jackson. 21 for 29, 8 incompletions, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
That on top of that, 9 rushes for 119 and 1 touchdown. Oh my goodness, man.
I think this was just like, again, this was a really great game from both quarterbacks. Tua, y'all, like, no, Tua is not physically imposing and talented as a Josh Allen or Mahomes and stuff like that. It does not mean the man is trash, bro. Like, these people are so stuck up their behinds, bro. Like, stop being lazy. And then there comes the excuse of, well, he has a good O-line and he has a good weapon. So do the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, you would be shocked what protecting your quarterback and investing in the weapons could do for him. Like last year, Tua had one of the worst O-lines in the league. And what
worst.
do? They go pick up Teron Armstead. You got a promising young receiver in Jalen Waddle, who's a dog. And then you go send it for Tyreek Hill with a new coach that has that mindset. You invest into your quarterback, bro. Like that's what you're supposed to do.
Let's talk about what's not being talked about. All right. Tua came into the league with a Justin Herbert, with a Joe Burrow, with a Jalen Hurts, right? We're talking about 3 good, great, on their way to elite quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about the common things with these quarterbacks. Let's talk about the 2 most successful ones, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 2 things those guys have in common is they have 2 elite receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase over in Cincinnati for Joe Burrow.
Keenan Allen, Mike
Williams over in LA. Yep. Now for Jalen Hurts, he's got AJ Brown now and Devontae Smith. It's so crazy how when you give this quarterback that y'all have been doubting a level playing field, you give him 2 elite receivers in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
You know what I saw? I wish I would have got the paper. But Jalen Hurts and Tua both have a better regular season record than Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. Like they both do. And one person said Justin Herbert has never had a winning record in his career. Tua has never had a losing record in his career. I remember I sent y'all a screenshot of Tua's first 15 games compared to Kyler Murray's first 15 games. And Tua beat him.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and Tua beat him in every category except yards. And you're just like, people, like you said, this is why I'm glad you get around level-headed people and you see the game differently because they're just so damn lazy. That's why I stopped listening to a lot of them. They're just so damn lazy. They put players in a box because we're not the most film geniuses, but it doesn't take hard. It's not hard to look in to be like, yo, this is what you got. This is how it's performing. This is why a player's doing better than another. And one thing I hate for people who were saying it, how can you let Tyreek Hill beat you deep? He's the fastest man in the NFL, bro. Like, who's going to stop him?
You're going to put a safety 40 yards deep?
Yeah.
And so,
you're going to stop him?
One of the things that got on my nerves that I kept seeing, and yes, we are pro Tua, but also we don't want to consider ourselves casuals. We want to do the work. We want to do the research. I kept seeing Tua throwing the wide open receivers. He wasn't throwing in windows. Hold on. So you telling me you're going to discredit a man because he's going to take the throws you're going to give him for 460 plus yards and 6 touchdowns? That's a bad thing?
Yeah. I bet you the defense, what the adjustments seem like, jump off first reads. Go. Jump them. We're going to send it. Y'all want to jump these first reads? Go. We're going to send it.
This is why Jalen Waddle and Tyreek were running 9s all the second half.
And look at Jalen Waddle, screen pass, slant, and these guys are working after the catch. But Tua's also throwing dots. Again, no. Do I think Tua at the end of the year can make an argument to be like, hey, this is a top 10-ish quarterback? Yes. Do I think he's a top 10 talent? No, there's other guys who are physically better than Tua. But Drew Brees was not seen like that in San Diego.
At all.
But he got a new coach, new scenario in New Orleans, and he became that guy.
Surrounded with weapons, Jimmy Graham, Mike Thomas.
Surrounded with weapons, a coach, a defense. You have to stop acting these quarterbacks to bail out bad coaching and bad organization. Yeah. You got to be better.
This is where it kills me when I always hear granted, we're pro Herbo. Man, Justin Herbert's a great arm talent.
Yeah.
Cool. We believe in that. But you're not about to sit here and tell me because Tua is not 6'5", 225 pounds and can run over linebackers that he's not talented. Yeah. He's not as talented as Herbo, but he's working his ass off to make sure that he's got the fundamentals. So,
and it makes me very glad that a lot of people are well documented on how they spoke on Tua, because now you just got to sit there and eat it.
And for those people, I bring to you this lovely form here. This is the Tua Tagovailoa apology form.
Fill it out.
Fill it out. Go ahead and fill that out. While you're filling it out, please subscribe to the page. Yep. You know, the media told me he was a bust. Go ahead and check that. I didn't think Lefty could be successful in the NFL. Go and check that too.
Yep.
You probably didn't watch any Dolphins games. You jealous of Tua. Didn't watch him in college.
I didn't realize that
he has like a 90% win percentage in college. Come on,
it's
y'all.
crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
We're gonna take that off. We'll take that off for y'all. But talk to me.
Highlighted game or player of the week. Cause what is a game that isn't one of ours that you considered a good game, a player that kind of stepped up, maybe something that surprised you during the week?
I got you, man. This ain't a popular one. There's a little heartfelt story that was brought out there, but the Detroit Lions. I called it. I said they win. One of the highlight player of the week for me, Dan Skipper, veteran in the NFL. He's been in the league for a minute. Shout out to the coach over there in Detroit. Called out his lineman who ain't never played this position before ever in his life, playing on the line.
St. Brown. I'm in Raw St. Brown. They said he snapped.
Dan Skipper. I'm a lineman, so I'm gonna show my lineman love. You know what I'm saying?
Lineman love.
Shout out to Dan Skipper. But the other one for me, outside of just the heartfelt one, Greg said it. St. Brown. We looked at Detroit and we said they might not have a number one receiver. This man.
So no. We did say that. I know people was very high on him statistically last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, I see it. I want to see it again. But you know me, when we did our preview of Detroit, I was more excited to see Jamison Williams come back.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm even more excited. Like, yo, he comes back week 5 or 6. We could definitely start to see what this team could be about.
Because you're giving Jared Goff. You're giving Jared Goff.
You're giving him another weapon.
Field what everyone else has.
Yeah.
Two great receivers and a hell of a defense. Aiden Hutchinson right now might gonna be rookie of the year, dog.
That's crazy, man. Big ups to Dan Campbell and what they're doing over there in Detroit, man.
Like,
for real.
Leagues. That's wild. I got to play a waiver wire this week.
I got to give big ups to the Jets. I do. I seen, again, it was kind of afterwards. I seen Robert Saleh was very disappointed after the loss last year. And I feel like a lot of people are overcritical of him, and they shouldn't be. Because they knew the situation.
He's a great coach.
That's what I'm saying, but I feel like people are not like. I just feel like people just don't want him to be good because everybody's so super sexualized about offensive head coaches. Like, bro, this is a very young, talented Jets roster. We know that. We've also made our stance on Zach Wilson. We just don't think he's the guy that's going to be it. But we know, like Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Jackson, Carl Lawson, Garrett Wilson, the running backs, Breece Hall, Carter Williams. Vera Tucker, I think that's the guard they got. Like, they've got a lot of really, really good pieces, bro. Really do. And it's just really understanding this year, is Zach Wilson your quarterback of the future? Like, is this the guy? We've already said he isn't. You already know I felt like he wasn't. He was the worst pick they could have made in that scenario. But credit to them, man, because I love Robert Saleh. I think he does a great job, man. He's coach quote of the year every time. Like, it's the greatest quote where he was like, "We play a child's game for a king's ransom." He was like, "We are playing football and we are getting paid generously. Show up and do your work. I shouldn't have to motivate you." And I know after the week 1 loss, he went out and he was like feeling the heat. And he said, "Before I got here, we were an expansion team. Nobody respected us. Nobody thought nothing about us. Now look what's been built." Joe Douglas, GM, who goes over, who's snapping, man, said, "Fill out another apology sheet." I'm good. Hey, you know me, if I'm wrong, I'll fill out Zach's sheet. But I don't think I'm going to have to fill out Zach's sheet. So, like, bro, like for them to win that game, to see how, like, we said that this could be a sneaky team that, like, if they win 4 or 5 games, cool, but it's a potential for them to get to 8, 8, 9-ish wins, because this is a very talented young team, and you could see them coming together. I'm excited to see what they can become because I really like him, man, as a coach, man. So, like, that's a team that I definitely, like, kind of want to highlight and how they pulled out a dub this week, man. So big ups to them.
Hey, man, before we move on to the therapy session, I want to go to the other side of the spectrum and talk about the worst game of the week and the worst team and the worst highlighted player. I'm going to go first. The Las Vegas Raiders
The Raiders.
Derek
Oh,
Carr
wow.
is exactly who I said he was. Let's talk about
2 weeks
this.
in.
Let's talk
2
about
weeks
this.
in, man. 2 weeks in. I got a whole year to get off. I might have to write an apology form for this mess too.
29.4 QBR.
Man, I didn't catch
interceptions.
none of that. I didn't catch none of that game until after we got done watching whatever game was on, and it was literally the last drive, like a couple seconds left, and they were about to score. And like in that moment, I was like, I kind of want Kyler to do this one for himself. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of want Kyler to score this touchdown and take it to overtime just to be like, I'm still that guy. Like I can still do it. But boy, when I tell you Renfro fumbled twice, I said, boy, Raiders is going Raiders, bro.
Yo,
They're going Raiders.
the thing
man.
that stands out for me is 25 for 39. You threw the ball 39 times. That's amazing. 39 times. That's great. For 252 yards.
Oh, that's wild.
What were you doing?
Hey man, I'm a hold hope. I'm a hold hope. But I ain't gonna lie, man. Maybe about week 8, I'm gonna throw that flag out. Maybe about week 8, I'm gonna throw that flag out. Like, yep. Let me go
Devontae
ahead and call
Adams
it on
had
his
11 targets for 2 catches and 12 yards and 1 touchdown. Come on,
Wow, bro.
man. What?
Yeah, that's
what?
wild. That's wild.
That's my team. That's who I had to call out.
Another highlighted player team game of the week, 49ers.
Oh.
You know, we never want players to get hurt. We never want players to get hurt. We don't ask for injury, no none of that. But they got bailed out because of the injury.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to fight about that. They can easily play Jimmy G, let Jimmy G rock out, and go right back to just being the team that they were last year.
They'll be in the playoffs.
So they should definitely be ready to lock up a playoff spot. You know, we had Rams winning the division and 49ers coming out also. So I think that just kind of locks and solidifies that for them going forward. Trey Lance getting hurt for the year, which is going to throw a real wrench into what happens into the San Francisco story in the offseason. Because what if Jimmy G does pull another conference championship out of his behind? What do you do at that point?
You can't let him leave at that point.
No, you can't let him leave at that point. You have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna move Trey for the assets, and I'm gonna get something else for Trey.
You know who just got their job saved by that man getting hurt.
Yeah,
and it's Colin and Lynch. Y'all just got your job saved.
Yeah,
because
that's facts.
I don't know if Trey Lance was gonna play out, but we'll see. Hopefully, he recovers well and comes back next year.
Facts.
All right, man.
All right, I'm gonna lay my chair back. All right, man. I'm here for my therapy session.
All right. Now, before we get into the therapy session, let me pull it up on the screen and show y'all what we're doing. This is what we're doing today. Y'all see that? That's what we're doing today.
What therapy session?
Therapy session, TTE therapy. I woke up one day and said to myself, why do I keep chasing the ball? Now, as a Carolina Panthers fan, talk to me, dog. Talk to me. Tell me how it feels being 2-0, losing to the Giants again after last year when you expected that to be the time when Matt Rule was going to get fired, dog. Tell me about it. Tell me about your feelings, man. Tell me how you feel it, dog.
Every day since the Giants lost last year and up to now, I have a dream, at least like once a week, right?
Okay.
I just kind of have a dream. I have a dream and I'm drowning and I'm in water, right? And I'm in water and I'm like, I don't know why I could swim, but something is holding me back. Okay. And I see a hand reach out, right? And a hand reaches out and it's a white, hairy hand. And this white, hairy hand happens to be Matt Rule.
Damn.
And I reach out knowing there's little to no chance that this man's going to save me. And when I reach out to grab his hand, he goes, gotcha. And then I die. I don't know why I even reach out my hand when I realize it's Matt Rule. I should just sink. But every time I try to give this man hope. And then while he's doing this, in the background, as I'm like floating down, I just see Baker Mayfield dancing in an All-State shirt. I see Baker Mayfield dancing in an All-State shirt. So yeah, it isn't a good time. It isn't a good time for me, man. It isn't a good time. I told y'all for the longest. As long as this man is head coach, I will need therapy sessions. And that's the most truest thing to this day, is that I will need therapy sessions dealing with Matt Rule as head coach.
We trying to get you to the bone, and that bone is the first win. Now, thinking about your team, man, where are you going to get your first bone as a fan of the Carolina Panthers? Your next couple
Let's
games,
look at the schedule.
I'll pull it up for you. We'll take a look at it. We'll dig in to see when you're going to get your first bone as Carolina Panthers fan.
Yeah. So this week we got the New Orleans Saints. Never, ever, ever in my life do I ever want to lose to the Saints. So never. I just don't. It just don't deserve anything. So I would hope that it would be this week. I do actually have hope for Arizona because Matt Rule is actually undefeated against the Cardinals. He's like 3-0, 4-0.
Okay.
But
Both home games.
Yeah, but then after that, I told y'all when we did the season projection that the best bet for the Panthers was to start 2-2, 3-1 before we got to Frisco. Because Frisco, Los Angeles, Tampa, you might as well clean them up as L's. Atlanta, Thursday night game. That ain't no gimme either. You could call that an L too. Cincinnati. I said there's a already. This is the problem with my therapy session. By week 8, by week 10, we could truly be in the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud sweepstakes, but it's really not going to matter if Matt is still around.
You're going to have 4 quarterbacks if you draft one in those sweepstakes. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and your rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Well, so technically the only quarterback on the Carolina roster that is on contract for next year is Matt Corral. Baker, Sam, and PJ Walker will all be free agents after this year. The only quarterback under contract next year is Matt Corral.
Darnold going to be starting before too long? Maybe, but this is a situation I'm looking at, right? If you go into next year, you do end up with a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, somebody of that nature. Do you at that point trade CMC and go get some assets and start building a young team?
Hell no. One, because we know the weapon that CMC is, and two, I'm not trying to take his dead cap. So it just is what it is. We're already negative in the cap next year anyway due to contracts. We got to give Brian Burns his 5th-year option, which he's probably going to ask for some money. So, I don't think you trade CMC because literally if he really is an engine that moves his team, and I think he plays more of a bigger role for the team but CMC isn't a vocal leader.
Mm-hmm.
He just does his job. Matt Rule doesn't want vocal leaders. Told you, Matt Rule is a narcissist who wants to be the big man in the show. He can't handle loud voices around him. He can't handle people who disagree with him. So, CMC, quiet leader. Brian Burns, quiet leader. DJ Moore, quiet leader. Jeremy Chin, quiet leader. These aren't vocal dudes. These are just guys who show up and work and do their job. He can't handle a Thomas Davis, a Julius Peppers, a Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? He can't handle these vocal guys who will look at you and be like, the hell is you doing? You know, so that's he won't trade CMC because CMC keeps him comfortable. He's not gonna do that.
I would have traded CMC this year. What I'd like to see y'all do next year, if you get a top 10 pick, it's a trade down out of the top 10. Go get y'all some weapons, man. Get y'all some weapons. Put something next to Robbie.
Cool. I'm cool with DJ. Well, Robbie's not under contract after this year either. This is last year.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, we gave DJ money. So drafting weapons in the later rounds is what it is. Said Robbie, he's not under contract after this year. I doubt he's gonna want to come back after this year. Shi Smith, I actually like Shi Smith. Shi Smith is cool. Yeah, I like Shi Smith. Shi Smith is nice. And I'm not gonna lie, with the way that we see receivers and weapons coming out, I don't think it's gonna be hard to get another one.
Yeah.
But we have the GM, right? To where Miami lost their pick, so they're like going into this year. I told y'all teams with 2 first-round picks. If we got a top 5 pick, if y'all found a prospect, I'd be like, hey, send me your 2 first. Because y'all got 2 first and 24, I think, too.
Yep.
So be like, hey, y'all want to move up, get a Will Anderson, move up, get a Jermaine Carter, just something just to, beef up because y'all already sold in on Jalen Hurts, so you got picks to mess with. Bet, teams that have 2 first-round picks, Scott Fitterer is going to jump on that. If you can offer him 2 first for a top 5, top 8 pick, Scott's going to take it. He's going to take the value. That's just who he is. So I definitely could see a scenario where we trade out. I definitely could see a scenario where if Matt Rule is back, his type of quarterback is Will Levis, the dude from Kentucky. He can't handle a CJ or a Bryce. Matt can't handle a CJ or a Bryce. That's not the type of people
I'm surprised he's even handling a Baker Mayfield.
So Baker's team, you could look at Baker's only been in the team really for 3 months and ain't really get starting reps for a month. So we already know Baker's as good as your coach and your team allows you to be, and that ain't good. The silver lining in it is even with bad games, we still lost by 2 50-plus yard field goals to win. But it's like, bro, you still played 3.5 quarters trash because you can't coach. Like, put together one complete game, not just one half of football or one good quarter. So, yeah, I'm Matt. I told y'all, Matt, the best scenario for me would be Matt loses this week and then gets fired. Like, I would love for Jameis, there's a part of me that really wants Jameis and them to blow Carolina out so that he could get fired. And then if he doesn't, I want Kyler and them to blow us out so he can get fired. Like, that's all that I really want. I just really want this man going. And I want Raheem Morris as the next coach.
It's a possibility, especially with Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara might be out this week.
Ain't gonna matter. They still got Cam Jordan. They still got Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore. Defensively, they are going to eat up everything we look like we tried to do the first 2 weeks. That's not going to matter.
Going into looking at all of the teams that are 0-2 right now. We talked about you getting your first bone, hopefully this week.
The defeated. Come. It's a therapy session for us all.
Let's look at all the teams that are 0-2. I'll pull up the standings right here.
The Cincinnati Bengals is first up.
Cincinnati Bengals being the first team.
Who nobody expected. Nobody expected. Everybody thought Joe Burrow and the Bengals was going to dog walk themselves back to a conference championship game. Joe Burrow, top 3 quarterback. Joe Burrow, better than Allen, better than Herbert, better than Mahomes.
We might be looking at something very, very interesting going into post week 4, going into week 5 as we do our quarterback power rankings again.
Yep.
But where does Cincinnati get their first bone, man?
So a part of me wants to say that I should feel like they should be able to win this week, but being very impressed with what the Jets did last week, I think they got some momentum. Yeah. They're at New York. And I think New York beat them last year in New York. Also, if I'm right. I think they get dog walked by Miami. I think they get dog walked by Baltimore. I think defensively, New Orleans is a very bad matchup for them.
Yeah. Damn, Atlanta might be 1-6 going into 1-7 if they win in Atlanta.
If they don't get the dub this week, they're not gonna get it until potentially Atlanta.
Damn.
Because I do think New Orleans is just a bad matchup for them.
Damn. And then looking at the rest of the schedule after their bye week,
when's the first dub, man? When's the first dub for the Bengals, man? I told you when we did the projections, I told you everything after the bye week was difficult for them except Tennessee.
Damn.
Pittsburgh still being a divisional game. Tennessee, yeah, they'll clean Tennessee. KC, Cleveland. This is a Deshaun Watson, Cleveland. Tampa Bay, Patriots. We gave them that dub. Buffalo and Baltimore.
Gregory said it'll be the Jets.
Jets.
I want to believe it's the Jets just for the sake of my betting lines going forward. I want to believe it's the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe, yes, having momentum, that defense is special, but Does Joe Flacco have it in him in week 3 to do it at home? We'll see.
If Joe Flacco pulls it off, I think he's gonna start until he just bums out. I don't think they'll rush Zach back.
All right, the next team is the Houston Texans. I'll pull up their schedule right now. It has some real close games, man. Real close games.
Right?
First one.
I can't wait for the Davis Mills Trevor Lawrence game week 5.
That's gonna be a shootout.
Chicago. And they could get a dub this week.
You think so? Lovey
Houston
Smith?
could get a dub. Yeah. Houston could get a dub this week. I've even debated. I was like, dang, should I kind of take them on the line? Like, I kind of debated that.
Davis Mills looks great. I like Davis Mills, man. After watching these
That's
last 2 games, he looked nice.
He was the number 1 quarterback in his class.
If you give him some weapons, just like we talked about, Burrow, Herbert, Tua, those guys getting some weapons, you give him some weapons, man.
That's why I said this year, if they was to have a top pick, I still would I would take a Will Anderson, a Carter, or I would take a receiver. You know what I'm saying? Just to continue to build the roster. We already said how sad it was that John Mechie was out for the year with his scenario. So I definitely think they could get a dub this week against the Bears. I do think it's possible. Chargers, not going to happen. Jacksonville will be a toss-up. I could give them that. And then they'll probably still want from the Raiders of Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. Especially out of the bye week. I think out of the bye week, they'll be ready for the Raiders.
For the Raiders.
Bears are total trash. Yeah, they might get the dub this week, so they might get their bone this week. They might end up 1-2 after this week against Chicago. But we'll see what y'all do, Texans. The other team, next team we have on the slate is the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee,
Schedule
man.
for this team, they looking absolutely booty. They beating the Raiders. Oh, yeah, they beating the Raiders, especially out of a bye week. They're going to come out the bye week and smack them.
One of them's coming out this week with a dub. Raiders or Titans is coming. Derek Carr, don't let me down. Derek Carr, don't let me down.
Hey.
I got the Raiders this week, baby. Give me the spread.
Nah, bro. Titans getting a dub.
Give me the spread.
At home, Derrick Henry going to run crazy.
Forget that. We had game of the week, Bucks Packers. Baby, it's Raiders Titans now. Raiders Titans is game of the week.
Hey, man.
Raiders Titans game of the week.
Derrick Carr crazy.
Derek Carr, 4 TDs, 350. Let's go. This is the redeem game. Yeah, it's the redeem game.
Hey, let's talk about the 2 quarterbacks in this game, man. Ryan Tannehill and Derek Carr.
2
very, very buns quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This going to be an ugly game, bro. I do think Devontae goes off this game.
I think the Raiders look at the Buffalo film. I think they see what they did to get Diggs in those situations, and they just try to put Devontae in those same situations and try to take advantage of it that way. I do not think the Raiders are capable of stopping the run on Henry like the Bills did, though. So that's going to be an Achilles heel for them in this matchup. I think Derrick Henry could have a big game this week, though.
They're going to have to throw 75 times.
Let's go. I got the Raiders this week. Raiders getting a dub this week, man. Raiders getting a dub this week.
I'm gonna go with the Titans, man. Let's actually just take that. Let's jump over into the Raiders, since you said that you said the Raiders. Or actually, you said the Raiders are gonna get it this week. We'll leave them alone. Where are the Titans gonna get there first if they're not gonna get it against the Raiders?
Indy. The Titans are gonna beat Indy
in Indianapolis.
And they swept them last year. It's still Frank Wright versus Mike Vrabel. I'm convinced that Mike Vrabel just got it on Frank Wright. Like, I'm convinced.
Damn.
They swept them last year. Titans are gonna beat Indy.
Damn. They gonna get their bone in Indy.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that, because if they don't get it in Indy, they're not gonna get it at home either.
Yeah.
And they might just lose the rest of the games the next season.
Yeah. Titans is gonna get theirs against Indy.
Okay.
I'm convinced of that. They killed them last year with that mess.
All right, man.
I just think they got the formula.
Here's the next team. We got the Colts, 0-2, tied the first week against Houston. Got smacked against Jack. They got a donut against Jacksonville. You brought in Matt Ryan to give you a donut. He threw 195 yards.
Oh, they losing this week. Take the spread. Take the spread. They losing this. Boy, we should have took that spread at 3.
Man.
God, we should have put the life on the spread at 3, bro.
I put everything in my savings account on that spread. I'll still do it today.
Oh, yeah.
What, a 10-point spread?
I said Titans are winning, so they're not going to beat the Titans. Denver's going to beat them. You already know I took Jacksonville as an underdog last week.
They might get their win in New England. Week 9, no wins with Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor.
Which will be a good thing because you already know I said the Colts deserve nothing good for how they treated Andrew Luck going out. So I would be fine with them going 0-9 and then firing the head coach and then actually looking in the mirror and saying, hey, we treated 2 great quarterbacks wrong. Maybe we need to look in the mirror and be better.
And Wentz, they did Wentz wrong for sure.
So this is an organization that went from Manny, released him, Luck booed him, Carson Wentz still went 27-7, and all you do is you can see how they projected all on the quarterback because the quarterback safe. Johnny Unitas back. This is a very, very stuck up organization that's about themselves. So, like, when my homie went to the game, the playoff game, he was like, bro, this is the most stuck-up crowd. They're like a golf club. So, yeah, I could kind of see that in how the organization functions, and I never liked it since that moment. So, I do hope that they go. I do hope that, like, at this point, like, Frank Reich kind of gets exposed. Like, bro, you trying to bail out on the quarterback, and it's your fault, too. So, like, get him out of the building. Get Eric Bieniemy the job with a new quarterback over there. Or something, and go have a good day, bro.
What's up, Saxon? The way Denver playing, they might get.
What up, man?
They might get the dub in Denver, bro. The way Denver playing, so I think Denver's biggest problem, and we'll get to this eventually. I know we'll get it, but I want to plug it right here. Denver's biggest problem. Oh, let me take the schedule off, man. Denver's biggest problem right now, to me, is you got a first-year head coach. And you got a fall in line Russell Wilson. You ain't got a Russell Wilson that's about to be like, look, bro, 63 yards, you better let me throw this 4th down pass. No.
Yep.
If you had a little bit more of an aggressive Russell Wilson to be able to say, look, Doc, this play calling that you're doing ain't working. Yep. This is what fits for me. This is what fits for this team. Let us run it. Do it like this. If you had a quarterback that was a little bit more like that.
All year we screamed. People trying to exalt Denver to the Mahomes and the Allens. Oh, well, he's got a Super Bowl and all this stuff. Like, it doesn't matter when Russ wasn't a top 5 player on that roster. No disrespect to him, but he wasn't a top 5 player on that roster. And Nathaniel Hackett is now the chef in the kitchen. He's the guy who's responsible. He's not hiding behind LaFleur and Rodgers. He's the guy. I told you I was glad that he came back and said, hey, I was wrong. I should have did this. Cool, accountability. You got your dub in Houston. I think, but at the same time, too, I think for Denver fans, for Denver coaching, this is probably the best way the season could have started for you. Because if you did happen to get 2 blowout games early, you might have perceived yourself as something that you wasn't. So now, this is a good test of if you're a good coach and if Russell Wilson is that type of quarterback, you guys should start to polish your game up. You still got a lot of division games ahead of you.
All right, man.
The stadium counting down the play clock.
You already said the Raiders are going to get their win this week against the Titans.
Raiders beat the Titans. New game of the week. Game of the week was Bucks-Packers, but no, this will be the side chick. This is the side chick game of the week. Raiders-Titans, baby.
You said the Panthers are hopefully going to get their win this week against New Orleans. You want to look at that again, or are you going to stand on that?
Yeah, we can look at it again so we can just get a hauling overview of consensus.
All right, let's get the Panthers schedule pulled up. See when the Panthers going to get their first bone.
First dub, man. So we got the Saints this week, Arizona week 4, Frisco, Rams, and Tampa. I don't think none of those are.
Damn, y'all might not get a
none
win
of those
until week 8.
Yeah, it could be. It's gonna be like if we don't get it in the next 2 weeks, we for damn sure don't need to be taking Matt Rule and keeping him here in San Francisco with us. This is 3 home games before we go on the road. So yeah, I'm not really with that. But again, anything to get Matt Rule out the door, so then I can start to have hope again. I'm good.
I'm be real with you. I see Tampa Bay as a trap game. That might be the trap game for Tampa Bay, where they come into they come into Carolina. They play against a defense that has a pretty solid pass rush. They got some nice They got a nice secondary. Can't say much about your linebacker core. Frankie Louvu's nice though. Shaq Thompson's all right.
Nah, Louvu stepped up. They stopped. Well, last week they was playing him on the edge. This week they actually played him off ball in the middle-ish. And, he did great. He did great this week, man. So I was glad for him this week.
I don't think week 8 either. Falcons playing ball. They are. I do think week 7 might be a trap game for Tampa.
I tell you this.
We'll
no matter what happens, me and Deuce are going to the Baltimore game. And if Matt Rule is still the coach during week 11 and we only got like 2 wins, I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm jumping. I'm over. Deuce is with me. Get my money's worth. Boof! Ah! I'm getting my money's worth. Dollars paid, baby. That's it. If Kyler Murray can get slapped and they can't find out who did it, I'm going to get mine in.
Bruh.
I'm going to get mine in. Yeah.
All right, man. Last team who has yet to get a bone. The last team we're going to talk about that's 0-2 is the Atlanta Falcons, man. Where do they get their first bone? Is it this week in Seattle?
Ooh.
Is it this week in Seattle?
Ooh.
Hey, bro, it's 12 man. That stadium, those fans, they are legitimately the 12 man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy the impact that they have.
I'm actually going to take Seattle in this game. I could see them taking one out on Cleveland. Because they do got good corners. I told you, AJ Terrell, they do got good corners. And I think AJ Terrell will follow Cooper and kind of deal with that on his own. I'll say week 4 against Cleveland.
Week 4 against Cleveland.
Again, I wouldn't be shocked this week in Seattle, but I think Seattle's going to be good this week.
I think I'm going to roll with that too.
Well, you know what? Seattle, Atlanta. This is first look at the Bryce Young sweepstakes. Let's see who wants some more. Let's see who wants Bryce Young more. You know what I'm saying? Let's see who wants Bryce Young more.
I'm going to go with Cleveland too, man. I think Cleveland's one of those games that they're going to be playing at home. You're going to have Mariota, Pitts by then, hopefully have created some sort of a chemistry. Drake London.
Man, there's a real chance, though, like they could win. They could win 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a good chance they could be 4-8, with a dub and 3, 4 and 8-ish. Around week 12, week 13.
We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. That's the last team that has yet to get a win, man. Let's pop into our
week 3 preview.
Week 3 preview. We're gonna look at the schedule. Oh no. We don't want y'all schedule. We're gonna look at the actual schedule for week 3. First game, Thursday night football. Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
So I watched part of that Pittsburgh-Pats game last week. There was a heartbreaking moment. It was like 10-3, something like that, 10-7, something like that. Mac Jones throws a pick, drops it. The very next play, they punt it. The returner drops it, and then New England gets the ball in the red zone and score. Without that series of unfortunate events, I do think the Steelers eventually pull it out.
Which sucks.
But being a divisional game and being at home, I think I am going to have to lean Cleveland this week. But can we talk about how suspect this Cleveland defense is looking, though?
Oh, my goodness, bro.
Carolina put up 24 when Baker had his way, finally was able to get it going. The Jets kind of have their way. Are we overvaluing this Browns defense?
Yes. I think what's missing on this Browns defense from watching the game is a linebacker core. The linebacker core can't solidify anything for them. They have a pretty solid D-line. Miles Garrett, having Clouded on the other side, and they have a Ward over there in the secondary. But their linebackers, to me, look a little sus.
Well, yeah, I like Joke. You told you I like Joke. I like Jeremiah Cole Wilson with God, whatever. Joke. I like Joke. I mess with him. But yeah, man, something's kind of missing with this team. Like this is a little bit suspect of how we're viewing this defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Cleveland too. Just being at home, Nick Chubb. I got him on the over 77 yards this week.
We got him on the over.
Hope he goes for $120. Clowney
Is
playing?
Clowney playing?
I think he is playing this week. He's questionable right now, but I think he is playing this week. And hopefully, what I'm hoping is we see some Kenny Pickett after this week, man. I hope.
So our over or under for
Kenny
him was
Pickett.
starting 10 games.
Kenny Pickett? I think you went under.
I said over.
Oh,
I said he was going to start at least at 10.
Okay.
I said Mitch is going to get like 5. I came and said he was going to start from week 1. I still think he starts 10 games. I told you Kenny should have started week 1. But 10 games, you think he's going to be in by week 5, 6?
I hope so, man. Looking at what Mitch is doing right now, man. He's in 2 games, he's got 2 touchdowns, 362 yards. Like in 2 games, you have what Tua had in one half.
Yeah.
You got some pretty decent receivers in Chase Claypool, Deontay. And then, you know what I'm saying, you still got
what's the crazy part about this team? Is if this team is still bad, I don't think they can afford to reach on a quarterback next year because I think they just need to address O-line.
Yeah.
I just think they just need to invest in the O-line so Najee and Kenny can actually have some room to work.
We'll see,
yeah.
I'm
we got Cleveland, baby.
I'm gonna go with Cleveland.
Cleveland part of the 4th-leg parlay, baby. Let's get it.
Game of the week, man. Game of the week. Old heads. Bucks versus Packers. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. Maybe one of the last times we see these dudes play against each other.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the more that I watch this year go on, the more that I kind of look at Aaron like, yo, he might walk off after this year. He might walk off after this year.
He's so fed up.
He might walk off. I think he's just at the point like, you know what? I'm cool. I'm just cool. Bucks. I think this is a good game. Mike Evans, the 1-game suspension.
I saw he appealed it.
Yeah. He appealed it. Is he good?
He tried. He's appealing it right now, but it's not looking good with the history that he's had.
That's a 3:00 game, though, right? I thought that was a 3:30 game.
Yep. Later game.
Yeah. Man, I do kind of still want to lean Tampa being at home and defensively. Tampa's still been holding up, so I think they can cause a little bit of problems there on that end for Tampa, man. So I'm in KC, Greg. I'm in KC, Missouri, on the Missouri side. I'm in KC, man.
I'm gonna go with Tampa, man. I'm gonna go with Tampa. Where you guys from? I'm in Utah right now. We ain't got no football around here. We got the Raiders right there, and then the Broncos right there, and then down at the bottom we got the Cardinals. But I'm gonna go with Tampa in this one, man. I saw that they're bringing in Cole Beasley, hoping to get him out on the field this week. Having a Cole Beasley type player on a Tom Brady type team.
Yeah,
he's one of those dudes. Like that's one of the things that he needs. Hoping that he has a tight end breakout. Hopefully, Godwin's healthy this week and is able to go. But I'm gonna go with Tampa at home.
I think this will be the perfect game for a Green Bay receiver to step up and solidify the number 1 role. I think that'll be I think if there's a game where Christian Watson or somebody says, "Hey, I can be that guy," this is probably the game that they should try to start to assert themselves. If I'm a receiver on this roster, I'm trying to assert myself because I know I can get some money out of this. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ball out. Let me be in Aaron's right ear. Hey, whatever the hell you want, let me go do it because I've seen you be able to do it with, Devontae and other people. Let me go get in his ear so I can figure this out. But man, I think Cole Beasley will have a strict role. I think Julio should have a decent game this week. And Fournette, man, we'll see how Fournette stacks up against Jones and Dillon. So,
all right, man, we'll see. You want to go through the whole week 3?
Yeah, we can go through the whole week 3 so we can get our pick'ems in too.
All right, we'll start with the early game. Houston, Chicago. It sounded like we had Houston coming out on top in this one. We sticking with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it. My guy Fields, but I'm gonna stick with it. I think Houston's gonna have a good game. I think Stingley's been impressing me. I like Stingley, rookie of the year, my defensive rookie of the year type deal. So I like Houston in this matchup. I do. I think Houston could pull it out.
Real fundamentally sound. I think in a lot of the plays that I've seen him in, highlight plays, was all fundamental tackles, making sure he's not going out there for the big hit. So next game in the morning is the Las Vegas Raiders, Tennessee Titans.
Derek Carr, baby, we ride.
It's crazy.
Derek Carr.
Crazy. They're in Tennessee. I'm gonna go with Tennessee, man.
Derek Carr.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
I think looking at this game, I think they just go see what the Bills did with Diggs and Allen, and they just try to find a way to replicate that on the offensive end. Like you said, I think Derrick Henry will have 100 yards rushing minimum. You know what I'm saying? I think he is going to have a good game this game. But we'll see. We had the earlier acts this year, Khalil Mack and Bosa, Crosby and Chandler Jones. We said Mack and Bosa, it don't look like Jones and Crosby are living up to any type of expectations.
At all.
So at some point, they're going to have to raise their level of play, because if they can't beat these guys, then this defense is just going to be left out to dry.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, man.
All right, man. And then we have our put your money on the spread game of the week. Put your savings on the spread game of the week. Kansas City Chiefs are going to be in Indianapolis in the Dome. You putting Patrick Mahomes in the Dome against a team that did a donut last week.
They did that. They struggled with Houston up until the last quarter, and tied. Yeah, I think KC comes out. Andy's not the type to run it out. I think we're going to see a very early, very, very, very early blowout.
Yeah, you might see 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first half, and then Mahomes sits for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I said I hope Indy bombs because they didn't have to treat Wentz like that, and we said they wouldn't have a better season than they did with Wentz or Phillip Rivers with Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But who am I?
You bring an older quarterback who hasn't looked good with some pretty solid targets over the last few years, hoping that he can relive his Super Bowl year. So
yeah,
not even a touchdown.
That spread was at 3 Sunday afternoon. We just missed it.
Damn, it's 6.5 right now. That's wild.
I told you. Let it be 6.5 Sunday morning.
I'm sending all my money over, and I'm saying, yo.
Yeah. It's a wrap.
Let that ride.
It's a wrap. Let the part. Yeah, look, it's a wrap, Bruce. It's all good.
All right, man. Next game, Buffalo in Miami. The game of the undefeateds. Somebody's coming out with an L this week.
Man.
I'm going Miami at home, bro. Cousin Tua.
Miami, cousin Tua
goes for another 400.
Cousin Tua.
405 touchdowns this week.
Oh, man.
405 touchdowns this week. I think Raheem Mostert gets his barely 100 yards for the first time in his Dolphins career.
I think this is going to be a. What's the over under on this game?
5.5 Buffalo.
No, total points.
54. 54 over. 54 under. Over and under.
I would take the under this week. I don't think there's no fireworks this week. I do think there's like 3 touchdowns from Allen. I'm gonna see 1 from 2 from Tua, but I'm gonna take the under this week. I would take the under. I think both of these defenses is gonna be locked in, ready to go. Xavier Howard kind of cooked, you know what I'm saying, Rashad Bateman last week. You know what I'm saying? Good thing for Bateman. Good thing for Bateman though, because we said Bateman was a guy to watch. Yeah, man. I think I would take the under, and I think. As much as you know what, this would be the time that Miami has to pull it out, but I gotta still lean Buffalo on this one. I think defensively, I look at those linebackers. I think those linebackers changed the game for me. I think those linebackers on the Bills end changed the game for me. I think it's gonna be very close. I think Miami covers though. I think it's a field goal game.
Okay. Cool. All right, man. Next game. Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking the Lions, dog. I'm taking the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson came out last week.
Imagine a Bucks loss, a Lions win, And the Lions is the head of the division in the AFC. Yo, mind blown.
I'm taking the Lions this week. I know
8 Mile will be the most streamed week.
I know last month I got some hate for being a Lions hater. We got some hate saying DeAndre Swift is not a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
Hey, did 2 weeks into the season.
2 weeks in, man. They doing their thing. Man. We don't never hate.
I'm saying,
yo, this is if. Yeah, I'm still going Vikings. I think they'll bounce back and do enough to get this dub. But man, what if Detroit wins? We're gonna be at Free World 3-1-3. Free World 3-1-3. I'm telling you,
bro. Stand up.
Yeah, 8 Mile's gonna be streamed all week.
Yo, the reason I'm picking the Detroit Lions is that they do not have to bring a blitz to get pressure.
No.
They can run that NASCAR package, which is nasty. If they can get some pressure in Kirk Cousins' face and create some overthrows or some happy feet situations for Kirk O'Bang's Cousins, we might see another 3 interception week, dog.
Yeah.
We might see it.
This would be crazy, bro. I got the Vikings. I got the Vikings, man, but let Detroit win. Detroit win, man. This might be a slaughter dub on the Lions type of week. This might be that type of week, yeah.
Next week of the mornings, we got Baltimore Ravens against the New England Patriots. This is another one of those.
Put your money on the spread, baby.
Yeah, put your money down on it, baby. Spread. I think the spread. Hold on, let me look at the spread right now.
It was
it's 3-point spread, bro. 3 points.
Put your money on it.
No. You going with
Ravens,
the Pats?
easy.
Oh, he going with the Pats.
No.
Gregor's going with the Pats.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, nah. I'm not taking them at all.
Lamar's on a mission this year. This man don't have an agent. He's out here representing himself. And he's like, look, y'all gonna give Deshaun Watson, somebody who ain't playing 11 games, who didn't play all last year, guaranteed money. Y'all gonna give me this money. Y'all gonna see that I'm throwing touchdowns. He gonna throw for 3 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, Lamar. I expect Lamar to have another big game. I'm looking at a 4 TD type of game, 4 TD total type of game. There was some meat left on the bones against Miami. 4th and goal fumble, another 4th down stop. Just some moments that they didn't capitalize on that Miami did capitalize on. Kudos to them. You played the game how you were supposed to. I just don't. We already said we just think that the New England roster is depleted. So yeah, I got the Ravens. Ravens big.
All right. Cincinnati, New York. We said that this might be New York's chance to go out and beat Cincinnati. But what do we got?
Keep paying on the money. Ah, man. This is tough, but I do want to give it to Cincy this week. I do. Again, man, it would be beautiful to see the Jets win because I want to see Salah have a winning record and have that momentum for himself. But I'm gonna go Bengals this week.
Bengals. I'm gonna roll with you. I think they figure it out this week. There's no way. Yeah. I think they're getting T. Higgins this week back after having a concussion last week. Well, I don't think we see a third week where Joe Burrow underperforms. Joe Mixon gets shut down in week 2. I don't want to say shut down, but he has an underwhelming week 2. Yeah. And we see Jamar Chase just. I think we're going to see a big game, hopefully. Philly, Washington. Philly is in Washington.
Field goal game, I do see that field goal game. Said Philly, Washington.
Y'all know who I'm going with, baby.
So I told you Washington was my dark horse. So I would need them to pull this one out. I would need Washington to pull this one out. But still without Chase Young, man, like that's going to be tough. I think Philly looks locked in. I do think Philly looks locked in right now. So he said, die Eagles, die Washington. Oh, man. Now, you know what? I got to ride it out, man. I got to go Washington. I need Washington for my dark horse pick to make the playoffs. I need Washington to get this dub. I need Washington to get this dub. To make it for my.
He's going to get his jersey. Fly Eagles fly. Ooh, they're not even calling that no more. Take command, baby. Okay. Yeah, fly Eagles fly.
I'll wear the cam next week. If Pats win, I wear the cap next week. I ain't gonna wear the cap next week.
All right, next game, last game of the morning. New Orleans, Carolina. This is he wants them to lose so Matt Rule can get fired, or he wants them to win because you don't ever want to lose to a division rival ever. So
nah, you don't. But it's a good thing to lose when you get rid of Matt Rule. You feel me? So you're saying, look, they gonna be. You seen the videos on Twitter of like when the Saints beat the Falcons, they was all in the Atlanta Walmart. Mm-hmm. Getting it cracking. I would be in Walmart here with like a Matt Rule, like, you know what I'm saying? we're free at last. So yeah, I'm still gonna pick my dogs. I'm still gonna pick Carolina. Last year when we played Jameis, week 3, I think defensively we can do cool things with him. I also think Mike Thomas can cook some of our DBs. In certain situations, I think goal line, red zone, they can kind of have their way with that. Defensive lineman Cam Jordan has always given hell to our O-line. He's killed Bolton. So that definitely gives me fear. Icky's been better. I've been fairly okay with the O-line performance. But, man, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, I just think the way that they're defensively set up and the way that we haven't offensively put anything together, H has got the upper hand. I do. But I'm not going to pick him. I'm
cheering for the Saints this week, man, for the sake of firing Matt Rule. Our next game, we got Jacksonville Jaguars against the Los Angeles Chargers. Herbo coming off ribs, some bruised, maybe broken ribs. Hey, I gotta mention this. It's the same doctor that messed up Tyrod Taylor, punctured his lung. I don't know if you want him dealing with that.
I'm a Gregory. Chargers next. I think this is going to be the game where Pollard texts me because the Chargers make Trevor Lawrence look very bad.
Said Trevor Lawrence's butt.
Yeah. So I think he's going to make this game. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle against this personnel defensively.
Both up. Yeah. You know we Herbo, pro Herbo. Los Angeles Rams against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona after coming off of a amazing overtime win last week off of a Renfro fumble, man. Who you got in this game?
Not gonna lie, man. There's a part of me that wants to see Kyler succeed, but Cliff doesn't deserve anything. So I still gotta go to Rams. Man.
Think Rams figure it out this week, man. Think Rams figure it out. For the record, pure cover corner, Slay is better than Ramsey. Just saying.
I think it's been that way since he came to the Rams, though. Yeah. I don't think Jalen's been that lockdown outside dude since he came to the Rams. Like, I think there's at least a handful of guys you could say, hey, if I trust you on the island, I would take a couple guys over Ramsey.
I think Ramsey's more of a physical corner. Like, he's just a physical specimen. Like,
yeah,
he's just gifted. Like, you see this, the way this fool's built, his size, is just gifted there. And I think he uses that to his advantage for sure. So, Atlanta in Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle this week.
Yep.
But this is also the kickoff for the Bryce Young sweepstakes. It's also the kickoff for the Bryce Young sweepstakes, man. So,
slaying Detroit.
I got Seattle this week.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Hawks. Seattle Seahawks. That's right.
yeah. I got Seattle this week.
Green Bay, Tampa. We talked about Tampa edging out Green Bay. Hopefully they get Cole Beasley in this week. Julio should be back this week. Mike Evans, we'll see if he gets that appealed. Maybe not because of his history with the Saints, but we sticking with Tampa?
Sticking with Tampa.
Oh, he going with Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, Papa's probably going to kill us for taking against Green Bay, or he'll make sure he'll be here next week.
Probably. All right, evening game on Sunday. Frisco against Denver.
That's the night game?
Yep, 6:20. Well, 7:20 your time.
Be very interesting.
Does Frisco carry over? They're probably still without Kittle.
At Denver?
In Denver.
I got Denver.
At altitude.
Denver. I got Denver.
I'm gonna go with Denver too. I think this week they went and watched film. Hopefully Russ got a little bit more vocal and said, "Hey, coach, man, let me ride. Let me ride, coach."
Yep.
So we're going to Denver. Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys against the New York Football Giants in New York.
Very honest with you. I F's with Brian Daboll. I F's with Brian Daboll. I mess with Brian Daboll. I want to ride with the G-Man, bro. I mess with Brian Daboll, bro. I mess with Brian Daboll. I really do.
You know, as an Eagles fan, we don't like the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Saquon for $150. Daniel Jones throwing for 3 touchdowns. Maybe not 3 touchdowns. I think Daniel Jones going to have a solid game. Brian Daboll, like you said, man, he might have saved Daniel Jones' career over there.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I still think they'll move off of him after this year. I really do. Yeah. Because I think they'll financially be in a position to where they can get somebody or move draft capital to move up if they find somebody. I'm convinced. So this is a theory. One of the guys who I got that's a Chicago's fan believes that Chicago's going to tank this year or be bad like we expect them to be bad. And new coach, new GM would still move off of Fields. And he thinks that Fields won't be with the Bears next year.
Go get Baker.
and yeah, so they got a couple of things that they could do. And again, man, Brian Daboll, I like how he makes his offense. And I honestly think if I was a college quarterback coming in, I would want to go play for him.
Especially with a Saquon over there.
You know who would intrigue me? Florida's quarterback Anthony Richardson in New York.
He been looking
super
good.
big athlete, dude who's just physically gifted. But with Brian, you're kind of like, and we try not to say it loosely, big athletic mobile quarterback with a strong arm. One in Buffalo, bring one here. I'm the coach. I'll tune up the rest.
He got one in LA with Herbo. He just hasn't had to be that physical specimen on the run. He's very capable of it.
Yeah. Sheesh. But I think if you give Daboll a big physical guy who's willing to be coachable and learn, he was there during the process of Josh Allen. I think he could take one of those raw fit. I think he could take a DJ, Anthony Richardson, and be like, I can coach the things that you're not doing right.
Yeah.
Your talent is there. I can do the rest.
Okay. Brian Daboll. It sounds like we pro Daboll and pro G-Man on this.
Facts. Told you. Facts.
All right, man. I got a question for you, Doc. Yep. Got a question for you. Before we wrap it up with final thoughts.
Yep.
What do you think happens at the end of the year with Lamar Jackson, man? You think he gets paid?
He's not playing on a franchise. I know that for a fact. He's not playing on a franchise. But I'm going to give you my exact quarterback layout for Lamar. Lamar will not sign before Herbert or Burrow. And I don't know if Herbert or Burrow is going to accept the option. I think both of them are going to want to get paid.
Especially after coming off injuries.
Yeah, I think both of them are going to want to get paid. They did it with Mahomes. They did it with Allen. Forget the option. We'll pay you now and get in the game early. Kyler got it done. You see how the market's moving.
Cousins got a stupid extension.
Baltimore can't let Lamar go. Like, you can't. You really can't, or you set back this entire roster.
They up for resign.
Well, they're not up to resign, but their options have to be decided on after this year.
Yeah. Usually teams try to get ahead of that before the market starts moving up.
Yeah, specifically with quarterbacks, you try to get ahead of it. That's why Kyler got signed early. That's why Mahomes and Allen got signed before their option seasons. You just try to get in the game early before the market pushes you. The market got pushed, as we all know, when Cleveland decided to guarantee entirety of Deshaun's contract. All Lamar asked for is guaranteed money.
Yeah.
That was it.
He was willing to sign the same deal as Deshaun Watson, reportedly. He didn't want nothing different. He just said, give me guaranteed money, bro. Like,
give me guaranteed money.
Well, you ain't about to talk to no agent.
And I'm going to be real.
Agent.
Yeah, and I'm for real. When Deshaun first left the league, I was sitting here screaming, he's a top quarterback. He's a top quarterback. But since he's left the league, I can confidently say, in what both of them have done up to their point in their career, Lamar Jackson, I would take 100 times over Deshaun every single time. In a tangible way, in a wins record, like Lamar has really done his thing since he's been a quarterback.
You think the market ever hits a ceiling? These deals are getting on. So
they do have the thought. I know the salary cap is going to go up. This is the thing about Jeff Bezos. Bezos was in KC at the Chargers Chiefs game.
Now they got Bezos just paid.
Yeah, he damn near paid $1 billion to have each game signed to Amazon. DirecTV is almost out of their NFL contract. You really think they're gonna want to go back, or they got the pockets to contend with Amazon? If Amazon decides to throw 500 billion to the NFL to, block off, like market it, then that becomes more money that the owner could use. And for like 3 years now, ever since the Mahomes deal, they've been talking about adding a quarterback cap that's separate from the salary cap. I do think that's a good thing. Clearly, like everything, we'll see some quarterbacks get paid what they shouldn't. We'll see some quarterbacks get paid, less than they deserve. But man, I don't think it's ever going to hit a ceiling. But the one thing that I did learn this offseason is that guaranteed money scares owners.
Oh,
because when you guarantee a contract, they literally have to take that money out and put it in a separate bank account
and leave it there
just for that and leave it there.
I can see the NFL moving to something very, very similar to the MLB. How there is no cap. It is just one of those, like, if y'all are a big market, you can buy your teams. But I do think it might turn into something like that where they're breaking down positions, and it's a position type game where, like, if you play D line, if you play D tackle, here's your box of what you can make. If you play quarterback, here's what you can make.
And that messes it up for me because then, like, I think it makes GMs not be able to do their job.
Pay a tax over.
We already talked about how, like, it's very tough to retain good draft classes multiple years. Mm-hmm. So if you have 2, 3, 4 years, like, where you get 5 good guys out of each draft, you just financially can't keep them because all of them are going to want money. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, they're all going to want theirs. You just can't keep them. I do kind of wish the NFL would adopt a luxury tax.
Yeah, like the NBA has.
Yeah, like the NBA has. Like, if you draft somebody, you deserve the ability to be able to keep them and to pay them. You know what I'm saying?
To give them the best option.
To give them the best option. I wish there was something that allowed protecting homegrown players. Like, I do believe in that because if you draft well, you should deserve to keep your players. Like, you found those players.
They should take away the damn tag. The franchise tag. Yeah. I think they should take away the franchise tag, turn it into what the NBA has, and say, cool, you're a restricted free agent now. We have the ability to match any offer that comes in or better. If you sign an offer sheet, we get the chance to match that because we drafted you. But one thing in the back of my mind that I'm thinking that owners are the only word that comes to mind is collusion, is when you got a Lamar Jackson, an agentless self-represented player. If he finds a way to finesse a deal where he gets guaranteed money with no agent, that almost sends a message to the league and all the other players saying, oh, we really can control this narrative.
Yeah, they can. I remember Bobby Wagner did his own deal. But him being a quarterback to do it, I think that would really change the game too. Like, I think that really would change the game.
But Robert Saleh's quote is always going to come to mind. Like you said, man, we play a child's game for a king's ransom. Show up and do your job.
Yep.
A lot of agents out of a job. Absolutely. Unless you get with like a LeBron James and that franchise where they doing more than just sports.
Yeah.
But final thoughts, man. Final thoughts going into week 3.
Final thoughts is not NFL related at all for me. It's about that basketball time, baby. It's about that time for basketball, man.
Yes, sir.
It's about time. Yeah, it's about time for us to start to get into basketball too, man. I'm fairly disgusted at how low a lot of people are on LaMelo Ball. Like,
it's crazy.
Like people got Scotty Barnes, Darius Garland, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley. Like, there was a list that came out and said the top players under 25 you would start a franchise with.
Kevin Porter.
Luka Tatum. Trey wasn't even top 3. Luka, Tatum, Ja, Evan Mobley, and Zion were the top 5. After that, it was like LaMelo was like 8th or 9th on the list. And I'm like, yeah. And people was like, oh, Darius Garland's better than LaMelo. Jalen Green would be better than LaMelo. And I'm like, it throws me into a hole. But it's for me, it's glorious. Like it's because that's my dude, that's my team.
You live on
So
the underdog.
I love it because I know what LaMelo is going to be capable of this year. And then, like, we'll definitely get into it. But just to say, I'm excited for us to start to get into some of our NBA breakdowns, starting to look at some of the conferences. I think we may take that format, not on a live thing, but probably do our separate videos and kind of have them uploaded just to kind of keep Tuesdays focused on, like, the currents with the NFL right now, man. Greg, man, you got a basketball team, man? I'm Hornets, baby. Lakers gang over there.
Lakers gang. Lifetime.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a realistic. Man, I feel like I always have to preface this. I'm a realistic Lakers fan. Not a crazy
we're done. Like, we're done prefacing anything. It's like we're getting
Wizards, baby. Yeah. Bradley
I love it that you're like. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about, Greg. You rock with your team. I told him Bradley Beal was staying. Get your money, Bill. I want to see how Johnny Davis messes with them, man. I want to see if he's going to be the one. I think Kuzma's going to have a good year. I think Kuzma's going to have a good year this year. I think Kuzma's going to have a good year this year.
One thing I saw that
Washington got everything.
I saw you retweet this, saying that the league, not the league, but analysts are valuing Miles Bridges way too much, and you have been huge on this. Miles Bridges is not that dude. It's great. Yeah. It's cherry on top, but he's not that dude. Yeah. Give us your thoughts, man, while we here.
So this is the part that pisses me off, as I told you. Y'all know, I love Miles. I wanted to draft Miles. He was who I wanted because I thought he was going to be a better two-way player. Mm-hmm. I thought his two-way capability would have been like, I figured he would have been Jaylen Brownish, right?
I see that. Sitting at the 3 or the 4.
Jaylen Brownish. Yeah, like at his best, I figured he would be comparable to Jaylen Brown, where we could be like, hey, Miles and Jaylen kind of same level-ish, top 35, 30 player. Yeah, cool. I knew Miles was never the guy, or he was never meant to be the guy. The Hornets now have the guy. So when people used to talk about, oh, you're losing your team's leading scorer, well, that's cute. But he averaged 20.1, Terry averaged 19.9, and LaMelo averaged like 19.7. So it wasn't a gap. It wasn't a gap like the man clearly was the team best scorer. And it's also bad if Miles Bridges is your team's best scorer.
And if you're looking at points assisted, like...
Yeah. Miles, like you said, and I told you, I think Miles is a great talent. I am kind of underwhelmed with how he is defensively. I thought he was going to be much more of a two-way player than he's become. I think he is capped out. I think his ceiling was what we saw last year, but I do think what we saw last year is sustainable for 3-4 years before we start to see a drop off in play. I think Miles Bridges in a team that's a contender, he has to be the third best player, and he has to play the 3. He in small ball 4. That's how I view him. Because he hasn't been cut or released, he's not going to. You know what I'm saying? They're just going to take whatever suspension they got to take, and he'll play. So, but you already know, I don't think none of that matters. I think just like with Matt Rule, the point was moving off of Borrego, a coach that had limitations, and unleashing LaMelo, like allowing LaMelo to get the keys and to go do everything he's got to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's the expectation. I told you, I'm pretty confident LaMelo's going to have an All-NBA season and we'll still be a play-in team. Oh, yeah. I don't think. Yeah, so that's my standard on there, and I want to be good with that this year.
I really like Book Knight. I really like McDaniels. I like the young guys that y'all have. I like what y'all have. Book Knight is a very Malik Monk-ish player who I think is a little bit better on defense. We'll see what happens. Was hoping Washington traded for Donovan Mitchell. Oh.
I'm glad they didn't, though, man. I'm glad they didn't. I think because I hate how people treat Bradley Beal, bro. Like I do, because bro's a bucket.
Like, he's
cold, bro. He's cold. And if Johnny Davis, I think that's who they drafted this year, right? I think if he smoothens out, if Denny Avdia can take this leap, right? If Denny can take this leap, if Rui can continue the ball, and if Kuzma has it, like, bro, they can have a fearsome lineup of Bill, Denny, Kuzma, Rui, and whoever the hell wants to play the 5, bro.
Zingis, Daniel Gafford, like, there's a lot of potential on that team, I think. We can't forget last year. These dudes started off hot.
They started off hot.
They was at the top of the league in the first 20 games.
20-ish games, yeah. And then we all knew once Bill went out, we was like, oh, I think they're kind of willing it in this year.
Yeah.
But again, Bill being there, Bill's that dude. If Denny can take some type of leap, if Denny can be like, God, man, who do I think like player comparable wise? If Denny can make this type of leap to be like a, I don't think he has any two-way ability, right? Like but I think that's Rui and I think that's Kuzma who have to kind of take that on. But if Denny can become like a 17, 8, and 6 consistent type of guy to where they can run a smaller lineup with like him, Beal, Rui,
I got you.
Gafford, like that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Denny to me, if I'm gonna make a player comparison skill wise, very, very Lamar Odom-ish. Very, very Lamar Odom-ish.
God, I didn't want to say it because of the shooting, but I thought like kind of Peja like.
Ooh, I can see Peja. I like that Denny has the ability to bring the ball up and be on point forward.
Very creative and crafty. I saw him like, we play them 4 times a year, so I get to see them 4 times. I get to see them 4 times a year, and I saw little bits of maturity in it. In his game, so we'll see how they turn out. But yeah, man, that was my thought. The LaMelo Ball is now officially to the masses underrated. And I'm just ready to see he's gonna tear it up this year.
You'll have a great year this year.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Keep an eye out for those NBA episodes. Once we start getting those recorded, we'll start releasing those. I do got to make a commitment to y'all. We're gonna be a little bit more intentional about getting some shorts out there, just so y'all got little tidbits to bite on throughout the week. Watch while you wait for TTE Tuesdays. But
yeah,
we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Make sure y'all like. Make sure y'all subscribe. Tell your friends to come through. If y'all got some friends that cheer for a certain team and you think this is some good content for them, send them over.
Yep. Thank you. No, for real. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We are still working out the end. We will always be here every Tuesday at this time. It's always been trying to just work within our schedule to do more. And it's that time for NBA and everything. And, last year we did NBA and NFL and our episodes was going like 3-4 hours on Tuesdays. It took forever, which was cool, but just on our own level, we wanted to kind of give some. So I know for our NBA breakdowns, we're going to try to aim to do some 20, 15-minute video breakdowns, probably of just like our perspective of each team. Like you said, every Tuesday we will be here. TT Tuesday, that's what we're always gonna do. So we're excited, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Enjoy it, man. Love it. We're always gonna be here, man. I'm ready.
Yep. Have a great week. Have a great NFL week starting Thursday, y'all. Take it easy.
Yeah.